We're now waiting for the final fueling call, which is coming up here in the next 30 seconds, which will be the conclusion of second stage LOX load. Our T-minus 2 minutes and counting. Taking a quick look at the live chat here, I want to thank the now 23,000 of you who are watching as we got the call that stage 2 LOX load is complete. Seeing the ground gas closeouts here at the pad as SpaceX clears any remaining LOX from the feed lines. Very briefly, want to thank Denise Davidson for joining us with channel membership at the pad leader level, to Patty Chichil for gifting 5 Spaceflight Now memberships, and to Tony Maloney for a £5 super chat saying a donation for you, Spaceflight Now. You deserve it for your efforts, bud. Thank you for the kind words. With just about a minute left to go here remaining before liftoff, we're going to go ahead and keep our attention on the Falcon 9 rocket. Welcome back to the live chat on the other side of launch. T-minus 1 minute and counting. "50 seconds and counting." We're listening for the launch director's go for launch as the call-off for startup confirmed.
Systems.
LD, go for launch.
With that call, we are go for launch, less than 30 seconds away from the liftoff of this Falcon 9 rocket. 20 seconds. SpaceX report everything is go for launch with this mission. 15 seconds. And here we go. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition and liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket on the O3b mPOWER satellites 7 and 8 mission launch. The Falcon 9 has cleared the tower. Now a little more than a minute into flight, the Falcon 9 traveling faster than the speed of sound. Passing through max Q, the vehicle is now throttling up on its engines back to full power. Despite some trickiness with the weather, so far a good ascent of the Falcon 9 rocket on this flight. We're coming up on a few different events in fairly rapid succession here. We'll see at about T plus 2 minutes and 30 seconds, first stage main engine cutoff. That'll be followed by stage separation, the ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine, and then the separation of the payload fairing halves at about T plus 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Coming up on Miko. Stage separation. and SES-1.
Stage separation confirmed. Evacuation.
All good calls, good views from the Falcon 9 onboard cameras. We're less than 30 seconds away from the deployment of the payload fairings.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There you saw views of the payload fairings being deployed. There you can see them just off of the edge of the nozzle there from this onboard camera view. You can see in the big box, the remnants of the plume following launch drifting off just to the left of the frame of the big box there against a lovely Florida sunset. Now 4 minutes, 42 seconds and counting into this mission. We're coming up on the first stage entry burn getting underway. That's coming up at T plus 6 minutes and 20 seconds. That'll be the ignition of 3 of the Merlin engines on the base of the Falcon 9 first stage. If you'll notice, just between the hypersonic grid fins on the Falcon booster there on the left-hand side of your screen, well, this is a view through the inner stage at the top of the booster. Once it goes back to the views looking back down towards Earth, those bursts that you'll see occasionally, those are the cold gas thrusters, which help adjust the attitude or the positioning of the Falcon 9 first stage booster. SpaceX going full screen there on the upper stage engine, the Merlin vacuum engine, continuing on with a good burn. SpaceX's John Insprucker noting that the camera views on board the Falcon 9's second stage will conclude following the landing of the booster on the drone ship. Just read the instructions, and so we'll likely get updates through social media about deployment.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Stage 1 FT.
Good call on the start of entry burn here. This burn lasting about 26 seconds in total. Coming upon entry burn shutdown.
Shutdown.
Good call from SpaceX. There are those thrusters I was talking about. A little more than 7 minutes into flight now. Unlike a Starlink launch in which we see the booster landing before the second stage engine cuts off, we're actually going to come up on SECO 1 or second stage engine cutoff coming up in now 30 seconds. And then the landing burn will begin about 10 seconds after that. coming up on Seco 1 here. Just about 10 seconds on the SpaceX feed.
Waiting for the call out for Seco.
MVAC shutdown.
We've got MVAC engine shutdown.
Nominal parking orbit. Stage 1 landing burn.
And both call-outs right on time. Guidance reports a nominal parking orbit for the second stage. The first stage has begun the landing burn. Headed to the drone ship on the power of the center engine E9.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
All right, and we have touchdown of formerly new booster on the drone ship out in the Atlantic. So there you have it. That landing marks SpaceX's 385th recovery of an orbital class rocket. That includes first stage landings for both Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Meanwhile,
Seeing some good views from the upper stage, and as John Sparker was noting, on the other side of the Merlin vacuum engine, hopefully they toggle back to it before the views go away. Well, now you're taking a look at the payload adapter here for the SES O3b mPOWER satellites. But yeah, just over the horizon line, you can see the plume from the launch. So a really nice echo of a launch that just happened. And a nice little visual bookend for our day in launch today. Started with the launch from Vandenberg for the NRO. That gave us a little glimpse of orbital sunrise, and we end our day with an orbital sunset. Lovely poetic way to end the day. SpaceX about to wrap up these onboard camera views and confirmed deployment of the 2 spacecraft coming up nearly 2 hours post-launch on social media. So in just a moment, we're going to go ahead and pivot back to our views here at the pad. Just going to let these views linger as long as they lasted, and it wasn't very long. Back here at the pad, SpaceX will be bringing the Strong back into an upright position as part of its process for turning around the pad as quickly as it is able.